Hey everyone, I'm Jamie, and welcome back to Built from Scratch, where we're building a 2D game engine from the ground up, piece by piece, learning as we go. I've been coding for over 20 years, and I'm not a prodigy, and I definitely don't have all the answers. This series is about proving that you don't need to be perfect to build something cool. We're creating a simple data driven 2D game engine and editor step by step. There's always room to do things better, and I welcome feedback from experienced devs. If you're new, remember there's no right way, just a way that works. We'll learn, adapt, and keep it modular so we can improve down the road. If that sounds interesting, like, subscribe, and share to follow along. Let's dive in.
Spreading knowledge, one byte at a time.
Last episode, we built the foundation for a truly reactive editor. We added an event system with on and emit patterns, implemented world state serialization with get state and set state, added query methods for introspection, and refactored the game hook to use refs. All the plumbing was there, but we hadn't connected it to the UI yet. Right now, our hierarchy panel just has a plus button that spawns entities, but it doesn't show what exists in the world. It's like having a contact list app that can add contacts but can't display them. The editor and the world can communicate now, but they're not actually talking yet. Today, we're making the hierarchy panel come alive. We're going to first display all entities in the hierarchy. We'll wire up the event system we built last episode, so whenever an entity is created, the hierarchy panel updates automatically. You'll see a live list of everything in the world. Second, add entity selection. Click an entity in the hierarchy and it becomes selected. This sets up our foundation for the inspector panel, property editing, and other tools that need to know, what am I working on? Third, add a base component. Every entity will get a base component with a name and ID. This gives us human-readable entity names in the hierarchy instead of just numbers. And finally, we're extracting types into a shared types folder, so our components have a single source of truth for what the transform, shape, and velocity look like. This is the episode where the editor stops being a static UI and becomes an interactive tool. The hierarchy isn't just a panel anymore, it's a window into your game world. When you create an entity, you see it appear. When you select it, the editor knows what you're working on. This bidirectional communication is what makes an editor feel alive. Alright, let's build this thing. Alright, we're back in the project here. We should go into our client source. Let's create a new folder. We'll call it types. And we'll say index.ts for now. We're going to go into our hooks, use game. Let's move this out. And we'll put that in here. We're going to need to export these. Export and export here. We're going to also export another one, export interface, and we'll call it base. This will have a name, which will be a string, and an ID, which will be an entity. Entity. Like so. Now we need to import that. Let's import type entity. We'll get that from at ges/core/ECS, like so. I do need to build, run, build. And I also, there we go, want to make some changes in here. We will import those now. Import type transform velocity and shape from @/types. And I want to create a few states in here that we can track. So these are going to be shared states. We'll say entities, const entities, and set entities is equal to use state, and it will be entity, which we should import from here. Entity array. And then did we import use state? Let's import that. Use state. And then we will also have const selected entity, set selected entity equal to use state, and it will be entity. And we can export set selected entity, which will be a react.dispatch set state action entity. And then we'll have selected entity, which will be an entity. Or we will have, what's the other one? We'll have entities. It'll be an array of entities like so. So we can come down to the bottom. We can make sure we return those. Entities, set entities, actually set, we'll say selected entity and set selected entity. And these need to also be able to be undefined as well, I guess. Same thing with this. That took care of that problem there. So what I want to do is after we create the world and add the components, let's see, no. After we add the systems, we can add, we'll do that underneath this. We'll add listeners. We'll say world.on, and this will be entity created. Like so. And this will return an unsubscribe function. So we'll say const unsubscribe entity created. And we'll pass in a function that just sets entities. And we will spread the previous array, adding the new entity, like so. And then in the return, we can unsubscribe there. Then for now, I'll just add these other ones here that I had made. So we're going to unsubscribe to, we're going to add listener for world reset and for world clear. And this can be defined here. And we need to call these methods. uh, return. So we clear this up or clean this up like so. And that should now set the entities for us. And when we add an entity, it'll update the entities. So we can go into the hierarchy, components, editor, hierarchy. And now we want to get that. So we'll say entities and selected entity and set selected entity, like so. Then we can also get the world ref like that. We'll create a helper function in here and we'll call it get entity name. I'm going to copy that right now and show you. So essentially get entity name, which will take an entity. So we can import type entity from at ges/core/ecs, like so. And it will take an entity ID, and we will make sure we have that the world is set. If not, we'll just generically create the name entity with the ID. Same thing with the if base isn't returned, which base, I think we did create that, correct? Let me double check. And we have base here. Now, the only thing that we need to do is in here, when we create a square, well, we do need to register that component as well. So we'll register it here, world.register component. This will be base, like so. And then we're going to be changing the way we do things in the future. But for now, we'll keep this add square. And we'll make sure to add component, entity ID, and we'll add base. And remember that is name, which will be a string. We'll say entity, and then entity, like so. And then ID will just be entity. And now we have a way to get the name and eventually change the name. So get entity name will take the ID of an entity. It will then make sure we have the world, and if not, return the generic name. If we do have a base, or if we do have the world, then we get the base component, and we then get the name from that, and we return that from this function here. Now, what I want to do is we want to check down here where we're setting this. We're going to do a bit of changes to that. Let me go over these changes here. So a lot of this is styling, and I need to import box from here. Box. And import button from at components /UI/button. So what we're going to do is we're going to first check if there are no entities, and if there are no entities, we will essentially keep everything the same. It'll say no entities yet. Click the plus button. A great one. Else, we're going to create a unordered list with some styling. Transition all and duration 200. That means that when things change, they don't just flick to the changing look. They will fade or slowly change to that within 200 milliseconds, whatever the look that ends up changing. We're going to map over all of the entities and create a list item, giving it a key of entity ID so that we fulfill that requirement. And we're going to then add a button. That button is going to have a variant of default or ghost depending on if it is the selected entity or not. On click, it will set the selected entity to itself. Then we have the styling for it and conditional styling saying if it's a selected entity, then we're going to have a blue background to it. Its text will be white and it will have a slightly darker blue when you hover over it, else text is white. The hover will be a dark gray, and then the text will be white when we hover. Inside of this button, we will have the box icon, and depending on whether it's a selected entity or not, we will change the look of it. And then we will get the entity's name within the button as well, next to that box icon. And then we'll have a bit of space between that and a ID. And the ID is just within a span with some styling, conditional styling, depending on if it's a selected entity or not. Inside of that will be a hashtag and the entity's ID. So this is really what I wanted to get to. So let's say bun dev. And I will bring that over here. We will create an entity. And now we actually see the entity. And when we click on it, it becomes the selected entity. So we can select these entities here. In the next episode, what I want to do is add the inspector. So we will be able to see the components that are on each one of these entities. And when we click on them, the inspector will update. So yeah, real short one. That's all I wanted to do. Again, everything will be in the GitHub repo, so you can follow along and keep up. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's take a look at what we've built. We created a types folder and centralized our component interfaces. Transform, shape, velocity, and the new base component now have a single source of truth. We added that base component to every entity with a name and ID. This gives us human-readable entity names in the hierarchy. We wired up the event system to react state. Entity creation, world reset, and world cleared events now update the hierarchy automatically. We built a fully interactive entity list in the hierarchy panel. You can now see all entities. Click to select one and the UI responds immediately. And we expose selection state through the game provider, so any panel can access it and react to its changes. This is the episode where the editor became interactive. The hierarchy isn't just cosmetic anymore. It's a real tool that shows you what's in your world and lets you work with it. So why did we do all this? Let me paint the picture of what we can build next. The inspector panel can now show properties for the selected entity. Click an entity and the inspector displays its transform, shape, and velocity components. We can add visual selection on the canvas. When you click on an entity in the hierarchy, you can draw a bounding box around it on the screen. We can build entity manipulation tools, select an entity, hit delete, and remove it from the world. Select multiple entities and move them together. We can add search and filtering, type player in the search box, and filter the hierarchy to show only matching entities. All of this is possible because we connected the event system in the UI and made selection a first-class feature. Next episode, we're building out the inspector panel. We'll show all the components for the selected entity, transform, velocity, shape, size, color, all that stuff, and we'll make it all editable eventually. So you can change values in the inspector and see them update on the screen in real time. That's when the editor transforms from a viewer into a real development tool. You'll be able to tweak the entity properties and see the results immediately. From there, we'll add more tools, moving entities on the canvas, deleting them, adding new component types, and all the quality of life features you'd expect from a game editor. As always, the repo link is in the description. Clone it, experiment with it, open up an issue if you find a better approach. This is a learning project, and I genuinely want to hear your ideas. If this episode helped you to understand how to connect event systems to the React state, or how to build interactive editor panels, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm show this to more people who might benefit. Subscribe if you haven't already, and don't miss the next episode. And share this with someone who's building their own tools or learning to code. We're all in this together. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's build.